Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. It's the 2012 Mondial de l'Automobile à Paris. Welcome to CNB. I'm Siddharth Vinayak Patankar. The Paris Motor Show is always a time where things get pretty hectic. There's so much for us to take you through. I will go straight into Pavilion 1 now and get started with the French brands.
These are our top picks from Paris this year, folks. And first up, it's the new 4th generation Renault Clio. The smart hatchback from Renault just got smarter.
Now the Clio becomes really important for Renault here in France in particular. It's the big sort of volumes model for the company. And take a look at what they've done in terms of styling. Very interesting. There's a lot of manufacturers using this little concealed door handle at the back. Also a very tiny sort of a quarter glass here, very different to what we've been seeing in most other cars. It's really this area of the door that's been very interestingly designed, and as you can see, even standard cars do actually have that black element that's been thrown in. Makes it a little sporty, makes it a little bit different. In the front is where you see that nice aggressive sort of a stance and the big face. You look at it, you know it's a Clio. It's a lot like the earlier Clios. It reminds you of that, and yet it has this big new bold family look that's been brought in by Laurens van der Necker, the Dutch designer, who's of course trying to transform the kind of character that Renault cars have. They're never very pretty. They're starting to get prettier and a little bit more aggressive. Even in the back you can see lots of aggression, big strong lines, nice little bulge even in the fifth door at the back. Looks very sharp and manages to look distinct enough perhaps from some of the crowding that you see in this segment, especially here in Europe. Now what's nice about the stand itself is that usually whenever there's a new car, you see 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 of them. But this time around, Renault has really gone over the top. There's 20 or 30 of these Clios scattered around in different colors. And of course, Renault also surprised us by showing us the Estate as well as the all-new RS of the Clio.
The Estate is also well designed, and the new Renault Sport or RS version looks ready for action, carrying forward the bumper design theme from the previous gen RS. The Clio is unlikely to come to India, but Renault is working on that long-promised entry-level small car to take on the nano to alto segment, and yes, minus Bajaj as partner.
It's a development aiming at the Indian market specifically, and I would say driven by the Indian market expectations, because it's one of the most demanding markets in terms of value versus price relationship. If we are successful in India, then everything is possible.
Renault is also showing off its well-received small electric car, the Zoe, and its CEO, Carlos Ghosn, accepted that the European market is unlikely to recover this or even next year, with more hope then from markets like India, where Renault is poised to overtake VW in market share, by the way. Arch-rival PSA Peugeot Citroën also has similar sentiments, though sadly not about India. And despite being in a financially worse place than Renault, it's still putting up a great display at Paris. A new 3-cylinder 110 bhp petrol engine powers the 2008 concept. Dressed in flashy fluorescent yellow, the concept will turn into a compact crossover for production in France, China and Brazil in 2013. But the real showstopper is this. The Onyx concept is a cluster of vehicles aimed at future mobility, so there is a sports car, a motor scooter and a bicycle. The car has a 3.7-litre hybrid with 600 bhp thanks to the use of KERS from F1. The exterior design uses copper panels, and that's been executed by an Indian designer, Sandeep Bhamra, who works in Peugeot's styling department.
The idea here is the Onyx universe, we call it, is to represent the vision of Peugeot cars, motorcycles, scooters and cycles. This is across all the gamut of products that we do in one go, so we are showing the whole dream of all the products in one stand.
All right, now talk us through some of the specific elements. What's the idea behind just the styling that we're seeing here? I mean, there's obviously, it's a very attractive looking car, but talk us through some of the specific elements that are unique to it.
The project started with the brief of making a dream car. So from the word go, it was very clear that we have to make people dream. So with that kind of brief, you have to go very bold, very extravagant. And when I was sketching for this car, I thought of making something that's simple so that people can remember it in terms of the form, something that's efficient, because it's very important, efficiency for us, and something that's very elegant and statutaire, something that's confident and talks about status. So these were the key things that I thought about when I sketched the car.
What about the obvious, very sort of performance-oriented look that the car has? It's almost telling me, that it's got a lot of power behind it. Was that again specific to the design process?
Yes, it is. It's got a Le Mans engine. It's got the 908 HDI FAP hybrid. It's got 600 horsepower, and the car is only 1100 kilos. So it's got power to weight ratio, which is incredible. So what are the materials you work with? Well, when you go for a supercar like this, carbon fiber is a given. So it's got a carbon fiber tub and a chassis which weighs 110 kilos. So it's a benchmark in terms of such a car. It was specifically designed for this car. And the body is also carbon fiber, except for the copper bit that you see here. The interior is felt on the carbon tub and paper wood.
It looks stunning, I have to say, and congratulations, it looks wonderful.
Thank you.
I know it's getting a lot of attention here with good reason.
After its first iteration at Frankfurt a year ago, we're getting to see the latest and still inexplicable Citroën Tubic concept van. Thankfully, there is also a very sexy DS range of cars.
But I can tell you that she's getting a lot of attention. I don't mean her, I mean the car, of course. It's a concept. And, the DS range from Citroën has sort of, in some senses, turned the company's fortunes around. The cars are aggressive looking, they're young, they're really getting a lot of attention in the marketplace. And this particular Numero 9 concept, once again, getting just that kind of attention. Though, of course, the world premiere on this stand is another DS, the 3, in its cabrio form.
From the French, let's move on to the Brits. The most talked about debut at this motor show is the F-Type Roadster from Jaguar. We have also been talking about this car for some time now, and we can finally show it to you.
Could this be the making of a legend? Well, that's what Jaguar would definitely want for the F-Type, because what it finally gets is a nice two-seater sports car, classic roadster, something that it can really stand up to the likes of Porsche with. And of course, I got a chance to see the car a couple of weeks ago. Couldn't talk about it then because, we weren't allowed to talk about it or tell you anything till the Paris Motor Show when the whole world gets to see it. It's a great design, went over all of that in great detail, and we'll of course have more on the car later on CNB. I'd like to, of course, drive the car because that's the best way to test the claim of any sports car, isn't it? Few elements which are interesting as far as the cabin is concerned. You don't firstly have the usually rotary gear knob that you see in other Jaguars and also in Land Rovers. What you instead have is a sportier sort of a grab handle feel to this gear shift. Nice little call, I think, because it goes with the character of the car. Some elements which some people might like, some might find a little too bold. That's of course the use of colors like this. You see this bronze gold kind of a color, little element thrown in across the car, and the overall cockpit sort of angled towards the driver, so gives it a bit of a cockpit feel as well. And I think on the other side, the passenger will feel a little bit snug perhaps.
There's also the shooting brake station wagon version of the XF on display here, and the other end of the stand has the ranges.
Well, that's as close to a stream bed as you're going to get inside a motor show, but well, it's sort of apt, I suppose, when it comes to displaying the 4th generation of the Range Rover. It is an iconic vehicle, and so of course a lot of people are going to come to the motor show just to perhaps see this. On the public days, I can anticipate that the barrier will actually really come in handy.
There's no doubt the 4th gen Range Rover is getting a lot of visitors, but Siddharth found another car here quite interesting too.
You got a little clip from the new Bond movie playing behind me there, and the reason for that is because you've also got this really battered Defender that's been actually used in the movie. What's interesting is that Range Rover or Land Rover actually provided over 70 vehicles to the production crew of this movie for the film to be made. And as you can see, this one seems to have gone through quite a lot. So now, of course, when I go and watch the movie in the theatre, that's the one I'm going to be watching out for.
So while we wait for Bond to be pressed into His Majesty's service, let's look at the other Brit, shall we? Yet another important unveiling here at Paris this year, the P1 concept from McLaren, tipped to be the successor of the acclaimed F1 from the 1990s.
The McLaren P1 is just a concept at this stage, though of course it's quite obvious from the way the car has been done that this is pretty much how the production car is going to end up looking. That will come to us at the Geneva Motor Show. They're saying only 500 of these will be made though, and given the way McLaren's usual clientele and client list works, I'm pretty sure those 500 are already sold out.
McLaren hasn't released any technicals, but the buzz is that the car will use KERS and yes, will likely produce peak power in the 900 bhp range. It uses the same carbon tub and wheelbase as the MP412C, which is also here in the same colors in its convertible and coupe form. Mini is showing its world debut, the new Cooper S Spaceman. This is being called a sports activity coupe by Mini. We're simply calling it what the rest of the world is, the coupe version of its countryman. Rolls-Royce has impressed one and all with its Art Deco-inspired bespoke cars. And now let's talk about the BMW Active Tourer concept.
But it is yet another push by BMW into volumes territory, isn't it? And I can tell you that the car is getting a lot of attention here at Paris. It's not just the fact that it looks pretty smart and that it's a nice looking concept. It's also kind of segment that it's trying to address. Mercedes B-Class, watch out.
The Active Tourer is the first front-wheel drive BMW without a longitudinally mounted engine. Besides being a plug-in hybrid, it also sports BMW's new 1.5-litre 3-cylinder engine, which will also go into the i8 and future small cars from BMW. The Active Tourer is good-looking, it's well-appointed and it is indeed roomy. It is being presented as a plug-in hybrid, but it will likely have a choice of efficient engines. The car's future rival, the Mercedes-Benz B-Class, is on show with an electric drive concept, while Audi is showing its cross-lane coupe concept, which signals the new design direction for its future SUVs. Volvo has launched the Cross Country, or the slightly rugged version of its V40 estate. The company says it will bring this model to India by March next year to compete with the Audi Q3 and the BMW X1. But we have more SUVs coming up ahead on the show. Meanwhile, here's the long and short of the new Fiat Panda, which in its new 4x4 avatar is kinda SUV-ish too.
Now you heard the term tall boy when it comes to the automobile industry. Well, we've got a whole lot of tall girls here, I can tell you, at the Fiat stand. And ladies, I think you are definitely the tallest women here at the Motor Show this year. Thank you for being with us on the show, and it is time for us to slip into a short break. Join us on the other side with more from the Paris Motor Show.
break, you saw the newest Fiat, but it's not the Panda we will be getting. Nope, the Fiat boss spoke to only us to tell us this.
Your position in the Indian market is what I assume less than ideal in your own view.
And less than satisfactory. I mean,
Less than satisfactory, yes.
and less than ideal. One combination, perfect. Yeah.
Given that context, I have two questions. The first is what really went wrong with the partnership with Tata? What's prompted you to now go alone in terms of your distribution network?
Well, the answer, nothing went wrong with our partnership with Tata, except that, I think we got a lot of things done with Ratan and his group, and by the way, I don't know, Ratan is not on our board anymore because he's retired because of, unfortunately because of age. I continue to miss Ratan. I think he continues to be a great friend, and so I miss him, but that's my personal view about Ratan, so life goes on. But the fundamental problem with trying to do too much with Tata is that we try to combine both the technical objective of sharing costs and volumes in terms of production of engines and the providing of technology across the Tata, in the case of diesels, with the objective of also co-mingling our marketing efforts in brands that could have been seen by the marketplace as being contiguous, and in some cases even overlapping. That, by definition, is bound to cause friction. Not overt bad fiction, but it's going to make choices very difficult. And so, Ratan and I agreed that we were going to find an easy way to continue the good part of the relationship, which is the technical sharing and the sharing of the production of cars. And then we would find our own way from a marketing standpoint, because the commingling of those marketing efforts effectively had to favor one or the other, and nobody was smart enough, neither him nor me, to cut the baby in half and make sure that we have made all the right choices in the proper allocation. So we've regained our freedom from a marketing standpoint. Tata has reacquired its freedom, and I think that we'll healthily compete in the marketplace without losing any of the benefits of the association. So that's basically the case.
The second question about the market, what happens from here on? Is it going to be new products or
It
new
has
brands?
it has
like
to be
Jeep or Chrysler?
it has to be new products, and we need to find a way, and I keep on saying this, we need to find a way to globalize Jeep, and so get ready, because I think we're going to be back with some Jeep offering in India relatively quickly. And it's a great brand, and it needs to find space.
So Jeep is confirmed for India. Marchioni says he expects the first launch in 2013, and there will be a slew of SUVs to expect besides the Jeep models. Yet again, we await with anticipation the Ford EcoSport.
The Ford EcoSport, the first time we showed it to you was from the Beijing Motor Show. Also a production car, but this one in grey tends to look a little bit more real world, isn't it? Same aggressive face up front, all of that hasn't changed. All the attributes that we've already told you about this car haven't changed. But this is actually not a show car, this is the actual production model from Brazil. And so inside you can see that even though it's a titanium trim, you're not seeing some fancy show car only leather seats, you're seeing fabric seats. You can see that from the way the car's pedals, etc. have been outlined, this car has been driven. It's not just a regular little show car as well. Same sort of attribute in terms of space, etc. in the back, and none of that is surprising to you. And come around to the back, and it's the same old interesting boot mechanism and pretty spacious boot as well. Now, the reason I'm excited to see it here is because while this car was always intended for China, India of course, and yes, Brazil too, what is interesting is that now the guys here at Ford tell me that in about 18 months' time, it's going to come to Europe as well.
The EcoSport is likely to arrive by March 2013, and by Diwali 2013, we should have yet another rival for it, the Trax. This car will come to us about a year after its European debut here at Paris, and it looks pretty darn promising, doesn't it? Just like a baby Captiva.
Now there's three engine options that are being offered here in Europe, a 1.6, a 1.4, both those are petrol, and then there's the 1.7 diesel. In India, it would have to be a smaller diesel to get the excise duty benefit, and I'm saying that because yes, this car will eventually come to India, it is pretty much a given. The part that hasn't got me excited though are just the overall quality parameters on the interior. what I'm seeing is a fairly sporty looking cabin, but compared to something like the Duster and compared to something like the EcoSport in particular, and what you're seeing here is something of a tacky cabin, overall plastic quality levels. Really could have been a lot better.
There's plenty more to show you from the likes of Honda, Hyundai, Ferrari and Opel, so we will have more from the Paris Motor Show next week on CNB.
So that's pretty much a wrap here from the Paris Motor Show. You've got to tell us how you liked it. Now, of course, it's quite interesting that we're ending right here. And of course, the larger point is about Jeep finally coming to the Indian market. And what I can tell you is that I want your feedback on which models you think Jeep should bring to India. All right, so I've been in pretty good company. I'm going to say goodbye or au revoir. And I'll see you next week. Please wear your seatbelts. You want to say bye-bye? Bye-bye.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for Retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.